All right, welcome in here. A little bit of a bullpen call here on WagerTalk Today, as I am definitely not Kelly Stewart, nor am I the Prez, but I am in the host chair, so you are stuck with me. We appreciate you stopping by here, guys, as always. The information remains the same no matter who's in this chair, as we've got plenty to go over as the NBA and NHL as well, trying to get past this whole all-star break or Four Nations face-off, whatever you want to call it. We got plenty of college basketball, the NBA back on the court here tonight, not to mention the PGA Tour in full swing, and what a weekend in boxing, too. So we get to hear from Kevin Dolan a little bit later in the show here today. Plus, of course, Gianni The Greek will be here with his customary Steam report. We got a lot to get to here, so let's bring in our good friend Nick Borrman, who's going to talk a little Mexico Open right now. And Nick, welcome in, my man, as we get ready. The PGA Tour in full effect. We're a couple of weeks away from the first major. We're also getting a little bit closer to that Florida swing here, but a stop in Mexico with, well, absolutely anybody has ever heard of apparently here, which means there might be some good numbers and some prices to look at in this tournament, my man. What are you seeing?
Yeah, there's a lot of longer odds, longer shots this week, which we'll certainly get to. I kind of want to start the breakdown for this particular event because I'm looking at matchups a little bit, and I think this is a good opportunity to look at some matchup plays, Joe. So if it all's good with you, I'm going to throw out a matchup that I really think is worth playing. Matchups, first of all, are all over the place. Every sports book seems to be different. This particular one is available at both DraftKings and FanDuel, so that should cover most of you guys. But Harry Hall, your household name, Harry Hall, over Kevin Yu. He's listed at minus 120 right now. Listen, I have a lot of good things to say about Hall, but the two that matter the most to me this week, putting and short game. He's gained strokes putting 18 straight events, while he's also gained strokes around the green in all but one of those as well. So no surprise in that same span, which is 8 months. He ranks number one in this field in strokes gained putting and number two in strokes gained around the green. Hall's last two starts haven't been great. He missed the cut at the Waste Management, and he finished tied for 58th at Pebble. However, before that, Hall had finished in the top 25 in 11 of 14 events, including a win at the ISCO Championship last July. Kevin Yu, fair to say, he also does have a win at the Sanderson Farms in October, so got to give him credit there, but far less consistent compared to Hall over that same 8-month period. In 16 starts in that same period, he's got more missed cuts, 7, than top 20 finishes, 5. And the 4 times he did make the cut, he finished between 44th and 73rd. So those are great results when you're betting matchups, because really, he can still have a good week as long as Hall has a better week. But even if he's making the cut, he's not finishing up there near the top. So I love that Hall, the consistency that Hall's shown, and I think he'll be the guy that's in that top, maybe first page, second page of the leaderboard come the end of the week. He's got 2 starts on this track, Joe. He finished tied for 10th, including at one of those. This is Kevin Yu's first time playing here. So just one more advantage to Hall. So I think Harry Hall over Kevin Yu. Again, that's a 72-hole tournament matchup. So make sure you choose the right ones, not the first round 18-hole matchups.
I knew a dude named Harry Reams one time, but I don't think he was a professional golfer. Good to see you, though, as always, Nick, as we're breaking down, because, listen, in these kinds of tournaments, right, matchup bets will usually provide some of the best value with some of these guys, especially when it comes to current form. So when you have a couple of guys matchup-wise in this tournament that you do like, there's got to be, is it a chalky event to you when you look for an outright winner, or do you go maybe a little further down the board because these are the kinds of tournaments, the no-name guys that big numbers win?
That's exactly right. If you look at the history in the last couple of years since they've added these signature events, you're talking 2/3 of the signature events, this is not one of those, are won by guys in the top 10 in strokes gained over the previous 12 months. They're all the big, big names. But you get to these regular events, this year alone, there's been 4 regular events. The average rank is 37 when you're looking at like their most recent strokes gained data, and their average winning odds, 91-1 is the average winner in these other 4 regular events. So yeah, go down the odds boards. Do not choose a guy like Akshay Bhatia at 14-1. Yeah, he might be the favorite, but 14-1 in this field, come on. This is your chance to take 50, 60, or longer odds for sure.
That's the way we got to look at it. Now, Nick, I know in addition to the PGA Tour, I know the MLS season is underway or getting underway here, and there is absolutely nobody who dominates the MLS quite like you here, my friend. And a lot of soccer is still to be played here around the world and here in the MLS. And tell the folks exactly what you got rolling, because now would be a hell of a time to partner up with you for the MLS.
MLS starts this weekend. It is here. So yes, it's season package $249, great price. That goes all the way through the MLS Cup final, which is in December. So I mean, it's a long package, long season, and 6 straight winning MLS seasons all here at WagerTalk, going for 7 in a row. Another great year last year for clients. So definitely want to take advantage of that. $249. The price will go up to $399 once the season gets underway. So you got a few more days to get that price and lock in for this full year. And we also have UEFA, which is Champions League and Premier League promo going on rest of European season through May 31st, $149 as well. So both good promos, but MLS got to jump on board right now.
Love it. All right, so you gave us, once again, Harry Hall over Kevin Yu for the Mexico Open on the PGA Tour coming up. You have a top 10, a top 20, and an outright as well for folks looking to dabble a little bit in this week's PGA Tour event. So break them down one more time for them. Who are the guys we should be looking to bet?
Yes, Steven Jaeger is another guy. You could throw some money on him outright, sure, but I like him in the top 10 or top 20 market. He's plus 320 for a top 10, plus 150 for a top 20. He's more decorated than most people in this field, considering he is a PGA Tour winner. He won the Houston Open last March. He hasn't really piggybacked that into a ton of success since. He's only got 7 top 25 finishes in almost a year since then. But his best starts have come more recently. He finished solo second at the Black Desert Championship in October. He nearly won again just this past January in the Aloha Swing. He finished tied for third at the Sony Open in Hawaii. Aside from that, he's got very good history at this event. This is only the fourth year they've played this event at this course that's officially a PGA Tour event. He's played in all 3 previous years. He finished 15th, 18th, and tied for third last year. He's got solid distance off the tee. That's going to help this week. It's long. It's 7,400 yards. And he ranks 11th in this field in total strokes gained over the last 12 months. And finally, he didn't putt well last week at the Genesis, but he had gained strokes putting in 7 of his 9 previous starts, averaging nearly 3/4 of a stroke per round, which ranks 3rd in this field during that stretch. And I do think putting, because it's going to be a low score winning, getting close to 20 under par, you're going to need to make a lot of birdies. So Steven Jaeger, sprinkle a little on the top 10 and top 20 market to place your wager this week.
Gotta love it here. So in addition, of course, I believe Champions League all around here, MLS starting this weekend, PGA Tour in full effect, Nick, and you've got a little bit of everything right now available at your page at WagerTalk.com. Yes, sir. Like I said, at UEFA Champions League, rest of the season, and Premier League all the way through May 31st, so another 3.5 months, $149. It's going to get every play, the rest of the European soccer calendar, and yes, MLS. Come on. No reason. It's worth it. Not to visit. Come on board. Yeah, no reason. No reason not to get them. You'll appreciate this, too. I'm wearing my PGA National shirt here today, as it would happen there, Nick. So the Cognizant Classic will be here next week, in fact, and I will be there. So should be a whole lot of fun. We appreciate it, as always, Nick. Good luck with the plays, not only on the golf course, but on the pitch as well. Always a pleasure seeing you. Always a pleasure seeing Bill Seibert in the house, Big Daddy Bill Sandoval, also with Have Cash here. David Talk back in the saddle there. Michael Hibbs, good to see all you guys. Been a hot minute. Rob Christensen, Brady Waller, and crew. FB Coach Welch Snack in the house over there on YouTube Shorts. Appreciate you guys stopping by. Hit that like button. Don't forget, hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Become part of the Wager Talk TV family. We appreciate you guys stopping in as we continue to roll out the plays here. And who better to talk some props than our man, Andy Lang, in the house, ready to roll here, Andy. And Andy, let me just get it out of the way before the chat room has a canary. The reality is it's Wednesday. which means there's darts somewhere in the world. There is a dart match somewhere near you in the world at a pub, and you can bet on it, Andy. Wednesday is now darts day, my man. Welcome in.
You're going to laugh at this. There were 124 dart matches yesterday. Just yesterday on a Tuesday, 124. Yeah. So, yeah. But yes, we do have a darts play. We'll get everyone ready for the Premier League.
All right. Absolutely love it, man. You never know when darts are coming to a town near you. But listen, we've got NBA back. I believe one game tonight. If it's even going to be a game, though. Lakers taking the court against Charlotte, I believe, will be the focus tonight in the NBA before they kick it back tomorrow with a full slate of games. But give me a prop in this game tonight with the Lakers and the Hornets. What are you looking at?
Yeah, I didn't expect to find a whole lot in this game. I've been playing Austin Reeves over his rebounds, but the books have gotten ahead of that one, so we're not playing Austin Reeves, even though I've been talking about that one for a while. But this Rui Hachimura over 1.5 made threes is definitely worth a look here. Both games that Luka's played, he's made 3 of them, and I love that he got 6 and 5 3-point attempts because, Joe, this guy's shooting 45% from threes. This is a game that LeBron, I think, should play. They said he practiced yesterday, so my guess is he's going to suit up. But Luka's still not back to playing, full 40 minutes. Maybe after the All-Star break he does. But this is a Charlotte team that's 24th defending 3-point shots to power forward. So I get Hachimura. He's going to get some wide open shots with the amount of tension that Luka and LeBron gets. He's been hitting those wide open shots. He gets a really weak opponent. I mean, a -12 spread. You got to expect the Lakers to put up some points. I like Hachimura to get to 2 3-pointers tonight.
Ooh, all right. Hachimura getting it, man. 2 3-pointers at least over that 1.5, actually at a pretty darn good price there, Andy. All right. Got to throw darts out there. The dart fanatics are already starting to rumble in the chat room here, Andy. That's it. We brought it up, so now we have to deliver. Give us a play that we can bet here today in darts.
Sure. Well, just to let you guys know, Corbin and I are going to record the Dart Show, and that will be uploaded either late tonight or early tomorrow morning. It's called The Checkout. We'll break down all 4 of the matches and go over. We've had 2 straight winning weeks in the Premier League, so both weeks, nights 1 and 2, we've cashed in on. And one of the plays that we cashed both weeks, Joe, that we've been talking about is Stephen Bunting under his 3-dart average. It's 97.5, and we're going to come right back to it and play the under. 94.06 and 93.9 the last 2 nights. He's been the guy that has looked the shakiest through 2 weeks, doesn't look confident, and he's only 5 of 18 on his checkouts. And as we talked about last week, if you're not getting those checkouts, your average just plummets. So he's been struggling, and we're going to keep fading Stephen Bunting until he gets off the schneid a little bit. We've seen over the years, some of these guys just do not react well to the Premier League. It's on a random Thursday. There's travel involved. And every year we see a couple guys really struggle. This may be our guy. So we'll fade Stephen Bunting. We'll take him under 97.5 on the 3-dart average. This play, if you're on DraftKings, you click on match props and then just scroll all the way to the right and you'll see 3-dart average. So look under match props, scroll to the right, 3-dart average.
You guys will get this absolutely no place else anywhere other than right here on Wager Talk Today with the one and only Andy Lang. All right, we do have one more prop bet, Andy, and let's face it, we just saw finally after the rain delay, we saw a little NASCAR in the Daytona this past weekend finish up there. Kind of boring, repeat champ, yawn. But that doesn't mean that we don't have something else that we can look at here, Andy, when it comes, of course, to racing. And again, that's just added to your repertoire here, whether it's darts, whether it's NASCAR, whether it's golf, NBA. Props is the name of the game for you, man. So what do we got in NASCAR we can look at this weekend?
Well, we talked about Kyle Busch under 1.5 wins for this season because he hates his team. He hates his car. He hates where he's at in his career. He hates where he's at in his life. Joe, he probably hates his lunch. So we're just fading Kyle Busch. And so what happened last week, he was actually running good. And then he got in a big accident. It wasn't his fault. But then in the post-race interview, he blames the wrong guy. Just so sarcastic, bad attitude. So all head-to-head matchups against Kyle Busch cash. So we're going to come right back to fading him. Austin Cindric over Kyle Busch. Austin Cindric in the Penske Ford was very, very fast, way faster than Kyle Busch. And this is more of an ongoing theme for this season. Head-to-head matchups were just fading Kyle Busch. His car is not that good. He's in a bad attitude. Joe, you hear him over the radio just making sarcastic comments. He's like, car won't turn to the left. Car slow on the straight. What a surprise. The crew chief is just like, yeah, we know. Like, they hate each other. This is not a good relationship. So we're fading Kyle Busch, Austin Cindric over Kyle Busch.
I absolutely love it. Why not, Andy? It's an angle and it's an edge any which way you cut it. And when those guys don't like their surroundings, the people they're with, the car they're with, the crew, yeah, nothing good happens, Andy. I'm with you there. So definitely some value, whether it's NASCAR, darts, or NBA. In fact, guys, if this tickles your fancy, and by the way, all of these sports, by the way, pay money in I think it's still green cash. Did it not? And like, you're not betting on darts and getting some sort of foreign currency here. So it is American dollars. They all pay the same. And right now, today, you get 25% off by filling your cart. So you can go over to WagerTalk.com right now. If you want to get packages involved with Andy, throw them all in your cart, get 25% off. Just use that code SHOP25 at checkout, guys. SHOP25 at checkout. You can save 25% on any regular priced products at WagerTalk and or sportsmemo.com with that code SHOP25. So daily picks, season passes with Andy, whatever it is, all access packages. Go fill your cart up now. Make sure you visit Andy over at WagerTalk.com and use that code SHOP25 at checkout. All right, still to come here, guys. We've got Gianni The Greek. VR will be by with his Steam report. But while we wait for March Madness here, and we do have some college hoops games coming up that VR will give us the latest on the Steam report. We've heard about NASCAR, PGA. We've heard about, of course, darts here. And let's not forget, this has got to be coming up one of the busiest weeks in boxing that I can remember. And when it comes to boxing, there is only one dude I take any advice from here at Wager Talk, and that is our man, Kevin Dolan, man, the boxing expert. And KD, always a pleasure to see you, brother. And I saw you on the list here today, and I'm like, it's got to be a monster week coming up here in boxing, man, because nobody's got the finger on the pulse quite like you do. Not to mention, of course, you also huge into soccer. Champions League underway right now for you. But tell me what's going on with boxing. It seems like a hot minute since Jake Paul was in the ring. Is there anything else more exciting happening now?
Joe, you had me all excited there, and then you have to mention Jake Paul. Like, it's just, he can be removed for this weekend. If this weekend was a woman, Joe would marry it. Like, it's fun. It's for boxing. I've never witnessed a bigger, more exciting card than what we have this weekend. Like the sixth fight down the list could be a headline act. Serious talent in this card. So yes, I'm super, super excited for Saturday.
All right, so run down a fight or two here for us. Tell me what we should be looking at, who we should be looking at, and what's the play here on some of these big fights coming up.
Yeah, I'll talk about two fights today. So one of the title fights on the card, Carlos Adames versus Hamza Shiraz. Really looking forward to this one, as I am for all the fights. But, Hamza Shiraz, especially one of my favorite fighters right now. He really is a phenomenal talent in the ring. Sets you up with the jab. He's really tall. He can, lure you under those huge straight right hands of his. If you overcommit, he's got hooks. He's got uppercuts on the inside. He really is, such a massive talent. What makes him possibly so exciting in the ring as well is that he's so young. He's definitely not the finished article either. He looked very uncomfortable against Bradley Skeet all those years ago. He took a few big shots early off Amo Williams in their fight recently as well. But, like I said, at only 25 years of age, he's consistently improving with every fight. And, just going back to his previous fight, the manner in which he dealt with Tyler Denny, a guy who had just come off a career best win prior to that against Felix Cash, just super, super impressive the way he went about his business. Nothing flash about the win, no particular wow factor. But just consistently walked Denny down in that one, baited him onto hard counter shots. Such an intelligent fighter as well at only 25. And I do see a similar thing happening this weekend against Carlos Adames. Adames looked deflated in the second half of his fight against Patrick Teixeira all those years ago, his only loss to date. And even in more recent fights against Julian J-Rock Williams, for example, who is, arguably well past his best at this point. Williams was given Adames fits with his movement and jab early in their fight. So, for me, Adames is the champion in fairness. He's a strong puncher as well. He can crack, but he does tend to throw those heavy punches of his on a bit of a loop. Often likes to come in around an opponent's high guard with those wing and hooks of his. And that's a very dangerous proposition for him this weekend against Shiraz. Shiraz is likely going to bait him in with that high guard. Adames is looking to come in over the top, throw hooks around the guard, so to speak. And then that gives Shiraz the opportunity to come right back down the pipe, hit him with straight rights, uppercuts on the inside, look to close the show. So for me, I already bet Shiraz at the opener minus 225. It is a high line, obviously, but it's since been steamed even higher. Line currently sitting at minus 260 right now. But whichever way you play this one, whether you up to take Shiraz by KO plus 120, he's coming to this one of 15 straight stoppages. Whether you look to throw Shiraz into a parlay, take him on the money line, whatever you happen to choose, I think you have to take Hamza Shiraz to become the new champion this weekend against Carlos Adames.
WBC belt. A lot of people think Carlos Adames is the weakest of the champions here, and so Shiraz, to you, he's ready for this moment. He's ready to take him down.
I believe so, Joe. Yes, I believe so.
Love it. All right, guys, that's fight number 1 coming up here this weekend. Make sure you guys jump in on that one. Break down another one for us, Kev, on the card here. Huge card on DAZN as well.
Yeah, massive card, and I'll go straight for the big one, Joe. Artur Beterbiev, Dimitri Bivol 2. Phenomenal fight first time around between these two, obviously. I actually had a 5% play up on Dimitri Bivol to win that first fight. And if I'm being honest, especially at the first time reviewing, I thought I got a little bit robbed. I thought he did enough to edge that fight. Although, since rewatching the fight, I had to second guess myself somewhat. I thought Beterbiev, I should say, did a little bit better than I thought the first time. Yourself, you have a 5% play, sometimes your view can be skewed by having that play on it. But phenomenally close fight, no matter which way you scored it. But in terms of the rematch, the one thing you're always going to get from Dimitri Bivol is 100% consistency. Same with Beterbiev as well. He never really has an off night in the ring. Bivol's style is so fundamental. Soviet, Central Asian, Eastern European, however you want to frame it in terms of that particular distinct style is so well drilled into fighters, especially the importance of footwork in the ring, that even when a guy like Bivol does put on a display that, from the outside seems a little underwhelming, Lyndon Arthur, Craig's Richard comes to mind, for example, that's still Bivol at 100% just in second gear. So, Bivol is one of those fighters that we know what we're going to get from him this weekend. And going back and revisiting that first fight again, to me, basically did everything he could do to win, in my opinion. Bivol fought as near to pitch perfect as is possible for him. His range was excellent. He was having success in throwing those limited combinations of Beterbiev as well. So I really don't see all that much Bivol can effectively improve upon for this rematch. Contrast it over to Beterbiev, however, and for me, there are definitely some things he can work on ahead of this one. We saw in that first fight, for example, that Beterbiev had a tendency to load up on those short hooks inside. That's been a money punch for him across his career so far. But in all honesty, those, short hooks, they were never really going to work out against the guy as defensively elite as Bivol is. Bivol was blocking most of those hooks inside with his high guard. And Beterbiev struggled to connect, I should say, with any kind of regularity early in that fight. He caught Bivol with just one power punch across the opening 2 rounds, 23 power punches combined across the first half of the fight. And those were numbers he eclipsed completely in the final 2 rounds alone. Beterbiev landed 29 power punches on Bivol across rounds 11 and 12. So like I said, compare that with just one he landed across the first 2 rounds. And the difference becomes apparent in terms of how Beterbiev, adjusted in that fight. So I think it's fair to say we know what version of Bivol we're going to get once again here on Saturday. He is an elite fighter, no question, obviously. But like I said, he fought as well as he could do, in my opinion, and still lost. I just don't see all that much he can improve upon going into this fight. While for Beterbiev, I personally felt he adjusted pretty well as the first fight wore on, started to mix it up a lot more. And if you can implement those changes, those adjustments much earlier this time around, I do think Beterbiev repeats the win. So again, this is a fight I've already bet. I took Beterbiev at minus 120. line hasn't moved all that much, floating around minus 130 right now. That's to be expected. It is a razor close fight. But Art of Baturbia for me to repeat this weekend against Dimitri Bivol.
All right, looking forward to it. Two big, a huge slate actually in the ring here this weekend, but two that you've got right now, and much more over at your page at WagerTalk.com. I mean, in addition to boxing there, Kev, plenty of Champions League soccer going on right now, NBA, college. What do you got going on right now at WagerTalk?
We got a triple pack up for this boxing card as well. Outside the two fights we've already discussed. 61-35 run on best bet moneyline sides in soccer. Soccer has been phenomenal. And I would like to see as well with MLB coming up. I'm not sure, Joe, that anyone else can match this, but you fact check me on this. But I'm on a 34-8 run in MLB sides. 34-8 plus 105.86 units. So really excited, obviously, for baseball coming back as well. And with everything going on right now, boxing, even Six Nations rugby. Let's not forget about rugby, like darts, one of those sports that gets paid. Great time to jump on board.
That is outstanding stuff. Yes, MLB right around the corner. And Kevin, I know you're halfway around the world. It's probably Friday by you. So always a pleasure seeing you a couple of days early, my friend. Good luck with it. We'll see you again, of course, as the boxing season and MLB continue to get ready and a little bit closer to the start of the season. Have you guys hit that like button yet? What are you doing? Okay. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, get ready because over at WagerTalk.com right now, it is Fill Your Cart Wednesday, 25% off your favorite handicappers right now. Anytime, just fill them up with your card. Any daily or all access packages available right now. Use that code SHOP25. This is the day, and this is the kind of promos that you want to take advantage of, guys, to partner up with your favorite handicappers over at WagerTalk.com. Absolutely no reason not to take advantage of the 25% off. Get your favorite handicapper stuff in that cart now. Use SHOP25 and take advantage. Now, we do have, of course, an absolutely loaded slate in college hoops tonight, too. Let's not forget there, as we've got, put up or shut up time, I think, with a big game there regarding Kentucky. Can they continue to get it done, even though they are missing not one but two of their favorite and best players there that they may not have access to, taking on this pretty feisty Vanderbilt team here, who, by the way, you may recall, kicked their ass the first time they played. That was in Vandy, though. This is at Rupp Arena here tonight. And currently we're seeing probably Kentucky laying what now? 4.5, 5 points, somewhere in that ballpark there. I saw them on the money line at right around $2. It all depends on whether or not you guys believe Kentucky, who is 17-9, 17th in the country right now. They are going to be without a couple of those guys once again. Can they avenge that 74-69 loss from a couple of weeks ago, rather? No Lamont Butler, although he did play in that game, that first go around for Vandy. And you may recall he had 12 or 14 points in that one. But boy, oh boy, he is kind of the engine that makes it roll for Kentucky here. Don't know that I trust Vandy to sweep the season series with Kentucky. Could you imagine that? That would be unheard of at Rupp. They might burn the building down if that happens here tonight. But let's see what our main man, Gianni The Greek, has to say, especially about this one. And if you're seeing any steam coming in, because I can't imagine a world, Gianni, where Vandy sweeps Kentucky this season here. Kentucky at home is a different animal. They are a little banged up, but it feels like this might be a good spot to back them here at home. What are you seeing?
Yeah, we've bet a ton already. That's why I jumped on a little bit late. About 20 bets already. I threw out a 6-pack to subscribers because they've been like yesterday. If you jumped on here, the steam that I gave out, absolutely, there's almost impossible not to have turned a profit overall because I saw in the account how well we did. But picking and choosing is what's difficult sometimes, keeping it very low volume. But I got to do what I got to do, what's best for subscribers. Today is one of those days where it's very tough, again, because they're firing sides and totals. Real quickly, on the game you asked for,
Yep.
we're not saying Vandy's sweeping, but we did take the 5.5 and took the 5 on Vandy to make it a closer game, at least than that number reflects. I think that's why it's shaded a little higher in Kentucky, because of the narrative. Is Vandy really going to sweep them? Is Vandy really going to go into Kentucky and beat them? They don't have to. Just don't lose by more than 5, and we'll hopefully cash that ticket. A lot of sides, a lot of totals, man, that they already got down on. Some of these lines have moved. Some are within still a half a point because there is some, obviously, money on the other side. But, yeah, it's all about college basketball right now.
Yep, it will continue to be. Obviously, you got Bama licking their wounds against Missouri. Looks to be the big game of the night there. And you're starting to see in a lot of the mid-majors tonight across the board as well. We're seeing. So if you're getting sides and totals this early, where are they focusing on the board here, Gianni?
All over the place. In fact, in that Alabama-Missouri game, we went over 170.5 and 171. I think it's up to about 172.5 right now. So that game's another bet that we placed. Prime time marquee games. And I don't even think it's really getting ahead of the public on that one. Because again, they usually bet favorites and over, most notably on those prime time standalone games, the TV games. The total's almost always on the over, except when it's so high. Like when you're seeing those high 160s, high 170s, unless there's that recency bias where both teams are coming off 2 or 3 straight games where they put up 80, 90 points each, you get more under money, believe it or not, than over money from the recreational bettors. And this is one of those spots where, looking in the back end of already, I'm seeing some under bets from recreational bettors. But like I said, the groups I work with, they all went over from 70, 70.5, and 71 on that total.
667, 668 VR. This game has been moved up to 3 o'clock because of the weather there. Charlotte and Temple. That's going to be the first game of the day here in a couple of hours. Has anybody made a move here? It does look like it's been pretty stagnant one way or the other, but they're in the chat. There's a bunch of guys looking at the over in this game.
This is what I could share with you. All one-sided on Temple. Sharps came in, took that 2.5. I think the overnight was. Since then, they've backed off. None of the groups I work with had that bet. But like I said, I share information with guys that bet for other groups so we could try to confirm what my guys do, what their guys do. And this is the game we bet, but I can tell you the sharp money's opposite on that total. They went under that 150. They were looking for 150 or higher. That's what they went under. That's what my guy told me. So I think that right now it's probably around 149.5. I'm pretty sure that the screen will reflect their bet because, like I said, they were looking to go under 150. Anything above 150, they were going under. Yeah, and I see them 149, 149.5. So they definitely got that 150 early this morning or late last night.
So what? 735, 736. I'm seeing nothing but over money with Miami and Florida State. Miami has absolutely not quit on the season, although they probably should have. But they are taking on Florida State in Florida State. I saw it last night at 152. I'm seeing 155s here. Is that your groups there pushing this total up through the roof?
No, they haven't touched it. But here's where the difference of opinion is. They actually took the Miami side. Not the guys that I work with, but again, another group took the 9 on the overnight was actually 9.5, but then they took the 9 and they took the 8.5 on the weak Miami, Florida side. And rest assured, the books are going to have good balance there because I don't see many recreational accounts on the Miami side. In fact, the few bets that I have seen already in the back end, they're on the opposite. They're on Florida State. I even see I don't know why people tease college basketball. When you got a total of a 150, how's that going to help you? But they're teasing Florida State. Again, it's probably going to cover. Watch that teaser cash, but it's just not a good bet, man, to tease college basketball. We don't even tease college football, let alone college basketball. But yeah, you have an opposite of opinion there with the recreational bettors betting the Florida State side. And the wise guys all over Miami. But we saw that yesterday with the LSU South Carolina. And the public got that one right. Because not only were the sharp accounts taken the South Carolina side at +3 or better. They were taking some money line on South Carolina, and they got blown out. So it doesn't mean, like I say, you can't make money fading the public unless you're getting 11 to 10. And I don't know any book that's going to give you 11 to 10. We usually have to lay 11 to 10 where I come from. So unless you're getting that, you're not going to make money fading the public. But it's interesting to see a game like that where if you're line tracking, it does everything what you expect to, even if you don't have information to confirm what the sharp side is. If you looked at any of those percentage slides, I'll bet you a 1,000 to 1, 10,000 to 1 that they all reflected money on LSU, money on LSU, money on LSU,
yep.
And yet the line was dropping from the opener to where it was. So that looks like, wait, I got reverse line movement. I got a ton of 80, 90% of the bets on LSU. So it's obviously sharp South Carolina, and it just goes to show you these guys aren't right every time. In fact, they're not even close to right every time. They're not going to hit 6 out of 10 bets. They're going to hit about 55 out of every 100, 56 out of every 100, maybe 57 when they're running hot. Small sample size, short. You could hit 6 out of 10, 12 out of 20. Anyone could do that in the short term. But in the long term, that's why I tell people, don't automatically be afraid to go against some of these sharp bets, especially if you have conviction. Now, if you don't, that's a different story. But if you have conviction, don't let that scare you. In fact, more times than not, they're doing you a favor because instead of having to lay 3.5 on LSU, you were able to lay probably 2.5 by the time that game tipped off. So sometimes they're helping you get a better number. But again, that's for those guys that are specialists, college basketball specialists that have good power ratings, that know they're profitable long-term, that are plus EV. And again, we see resistance every day in the market, Joe. So obviously there's a difference of opinion even between those winning guys. So for me, that's the biggest takeaway. Don't automatically piggyback every sharp move, especially if you're not getting the number. You're not going to make money long-term that way. But don't be afraid to fade it either if you have conviction, like in that Florida State game. If you have conviction, don't let them be on Miami scare you off it, because obviously the book knows they're going to get Florida State money. They know how bad Miami's been. So they're going to have to shade towards that bias a little bit. These guys are going to take advantage of it because they think their power ratings don't reflect that shade is warranted. So they're going to take Miami just because of what their power ratings show them. With that said, we might conclude 2 weeks from now that line should have been 10, not where it is now. So again, don't always be afraid to fade some of that sharp action because it's never going to be 100%, not even close to that.
Yeah, but in the sharp defense, the public loved Illinois and UCLA yesterday, and how did that work out? So there is
overall,
you got to pick and choose one. Of course, especially with the main and the primetime games here. And one of the ones 6:30 that I keep seeing pop up, and to me, Gianni, it looks all one-sided. 661, 662, Nebraska and Penn State. It was at Pick'em. Nebraska was even getting 1.5 last night. Not anymore. Now they're the favorite. It's flipped here. So is it all Nebraska action you're seeing?
Yeah, and that's recreational bettors so far. And it's kind of early, but that game has attracted more money than you'd expect for this early in the day. It really has. But I don't know any of the groups that I have access to or that I bet for that bet that game. So if you're looking at a line move, it's more likely going to be public money related because it was up to 2.5 at one point. Nebraska, I remember, was up to 2.5, and now they've come back down. So somebody loved Penn State at that 2.5 number, and they took a lot of Penn State action. That's the only reason they're going to move it that significantly from 2.5 down to that 1. And especially if I'm not seeing it in any accounts, it looks like one of those spots where coin flip. It's in a good spot. As long as it don't land within 1 either way, folks are going to do just fine because by the time that kicks off, it should be a little more balanced than we have this early in the morning.
Yeah, I would think so too. And also 725, 726. It's early yet here, but we know Auburn laying double digits against Arkansas. There's going to be that group that is expecting letdown after they went on the road and beat Alabama, right? Number 1 team in the country. Now's the time to fade them. Well, not necessarily. They're a 16-point favorite. I haven't seen it move yet. I mean, are you seeing anything on that big game of the night too?
Any bets that I see, that's why I'm looking in the back end right now. is on Arkansas. You're absolutely right, which is surprising. But again, it's the letdown spot. It looks like a key letdown spot for them. And the over. They're betting it over. I see the total dropped a little bit from the overnight. I don't have anything on that anybody I know got involved with. But it looks like the public accounts, and it's a later game, so it's not, I wouldn't say heavy, but it does stick out. It sticks out. Probably 7 out of 10 bets are on the Arkansas side compared to the Auburn side already. So they are expecting a letdown. At least that's the narrative going into this one.
Yeah, well, there's going to be some fun stuff here coming up tonight, Gianni, as the board is lighting up across the way here. And all over. One final one, because it's interesting. You do bring up the late aspect. Some of these late games, 9 o'clock and later here, we probably haven't seen the big moves yet. But when it comes to Gonzaga, man, oh man, Washington State, 723, 724. It seems like it's all Zags money, but yet I'm seeing that number coming down. Are we not here? Am I imagining things?
This is a true professional on the other side of me right now who shares the bet number, not just the matchup when there's 50-plus games on the board. Thank you for doing that, Joe. I even had the glasses next to me because there's so many and the writing's so small on the sheet I get printed out every morning that I was like, thank you for doing that. Here's what I can tell you in that game. Great game you picked up because we bet both the side and the total in that one, taking the Washington State side all the way down to 17 and a half, and the over 163, 63 and a half, all the way to 64. You'll probably see some resistance when it moves up too high, especially when it gets into those 160s, 170s. If you click the line screen, at WagerTalk on the odds screen, or if you have odds logic like I do, most of those numbers, when they're in the 160s, 170s, you're almost always going to see it go up, go down, or go down, go up. You're going to see two of that because, again, they're not expecting 200 points scored. Somewhere close to their middles kind of open up. But we are on the side, on the dog, and the over in that one. So, good game. And it's against the public because so far it's Gonzaga money in the back end. Again, it's later. You're not getting much, but it is on the Gonzaga side. And the line's dropping, never a good sign if you're betting a favorite. Again, I feel better when you're getting a better number, but if it doesn't move back up, I don't feel confident. I like that if you got maybe Gonzaga at a better number because we took Washington State, but to feel good, you're going to want to see that line come back up. As you're approaching 20, 30 minutes before tip-off, you should see that line move back up if they're giving the favorite any kind of respect. If they don't, and you see it drop even more, then I think you're more or less hoping to be the product of good luck because when you know it's one-sided public and they're still taking the second, third, or fourth number, it means the line's pretty off. Doesn't mean it's going to win. In a single game, anything could happen. In 40 minutes of basketball, absolutely anything can happen. But over time, placing bad bets like that probably isn't going to make you a lot of money.
One final surprising one that I'm seeing that's brought up in the chat, and it's gone the other way. Oregon, Iowa, 721, 722. Gianni, we had Oregon open it up as the road favorite last night. I don't see that anymore, yet I see a ton of tickets written on Oregon, but it ain't going Oregon's way here. What are we seeing early on?
The group that shares stuff with me, they bet this one under, and that's another one where it's going to be public versus the recreational bettors because the back end, the heavy bets on that are already on the over. They're betting that over like they have tomorrow's newspaper, and these two put up 200 points. And it's Oregon as well. One-sided Oregon money. Again, it's a little later, so a lot of bettors like to see how their early bets do before they fire late, but the early parlays tied into Oregon. Early parlays tied into the over. That's usually a precursor of what's to come. As we approach that 8:30 time slot, you're going to start seeing more Oregon money, more over money, and the books will be on the side of the sharps in that one, needing the under and definitely needing the Iowa team to get it done at home.
Yeah, that's exactly where it's trending here now. Gianni, what's going on over at your page at WagerTalk here? As it's all about March Madness, although the NBA is back now. NHL will be back here in a couple of days. What do you got rolling for us?
All right, I got a 4% on sitting on the USA to win that Four Nations at plus 150. Going to decide tomorrow what to do with it because it's a coin flip. We could kind of lock in a profit if the USA wins and kind of hedge that, scalp it, as they say. But I think at plus 150, getting a 60 a proposition that only has to win 40% of the time to break even when it's about 52% at what the money line is right now. It's a good bet. I probably have to let it go, have to let that dice go. Otherwise, like I said, I got a 6-pack up, 6 college basketball games. I got a ton of volume, but was narrowed it down to 6 bright and early with a 4% in there. And I should have the UFC up there tonight. Decent card on Saturday in Seattle, Washington. And like you said, the NBA's returning. March Madness is ahead. Great time to get involved. Head on over. Up for college basketball, up for 2025, and nothing but good things ahead.
Love it. Gianni, get the hell out of here, man. There's work to be done. We appreciate you as always, brother. Enjoy the day. We'll see you again tomorrow on Wager Talk Today. All right, that'll do it here, guys. Rob Christensen, good to see you. Roger Long saying, I'm in the ball cap looking to throw that 85-mile-per-hour slider. No, that ship has sailed, Raj. Nope, not going to happen. I got a better chance of hitting it than I do throwing it at this particular point here, but appreciate you stopping in. Lou in the house, Gary Sorensen, always a pleasure to see you guys. Big Daddy dishing it out here. Mike R, Chris B, appreciate you guys as always. Go ahead, hit that like button if you haven't done so already. Follow us over on TikTok there. Brian White in the house, Red T, James Amoroso in the house, Eric in there. Appreciate you guys stopping in. Make sure you hit that follow button. Become part of that Wager Talk TV family. We do this on and every day, guys, bringing you all the information you need to make smart sports investing decisions. It's what it's all about. Appreciate it. Who else is ready for Major League Baseball season, by the way? Anybody else? Because if it wasn't enough that we had to deal with Dan and his friggin' Philadelphia Eagles all NFL season long, what do you think it's going to be like this season with the Phillies now that they have a trophy in Philadelphia? You think Dan's going to be... No, he's going to be insufferable, and you guys asked for it. So get ready, because Major League Baseball is coming up. Don't even say it, Dan, because you know I'm right. You know I'm right. You're going to be absolutely insufferable, my man.
I have a feeling, though, Joe. Mm-hmm. I don't know if the Phillies have a run in them like the Eagles quite did, but we'll touch upon that. We have months to get into.
Yeah, MLB, munch your ass. You're already going to be touting the Philadelphia Phillies crap already. I can see it. Don't worry, Dan.
On a 10-0 run, you're probably right. Yeah. But we'll see.
Let me save you the heartache here, Dan. They're going to finish, as long as they finish higher than the Mets, I think we're all good to go. We can all agree upon that there. Appreciate it, guys, as always. Prez will be back here tomorrow. Don't forget, check out all the videos already posted right now on the YouTube page covering all the big games here tonight and beyond. We'll see you again tomorrow for another edition of Wager Talk Today. Enjoy the day, guys. Cash those tickets. We'll see you tomorrow.